Well, hello there. What's up, friends? I'm Dana Spencer. I'm here with our founder, Kelly Ridgway. And first of all, what we want you to do is share. Go ahead, take a minute, and share this event so that it will be on your Facebook page. Share. All right, Kelly, take it away. What you got for us today?
Thanks, Dana. Hi there. I am Kelly Ridgway, as Dana said, founder of For Real Foodie. For Real Foodie is an online self-study course that I created to teach you how to adopt, easily transition into, and maintain a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. Our goal is for you to live your most abundant health according to the Word of God. And by most abundant health, we mean the highest quality health that you have control over. And you have control over your weight, your blood pressure, your blood sugar, if you're a type 2 diabetic, your cholesterol, and a host of other common chronic diseases. Our belief is that the original diet is the optimal diet. Genesis 1:29 says, "And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon all the face of the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for food." When you enroll in the For Real Foodie self-study course, you will learn, first, how to pray for and expect health and healing through the foods that you consume. You'll also learn the health benefits of a multitude of whole food, plant-based foods. You'll learn foods to avoid that cause chronic disease. You'll learn the importance of water, rest, physical training, and fasting. You'll also learn the biblical importance and healing properties of herbs and essential oils. And lastly, you'll learn how sea vegetables like sea moss can bring healing to your body. But then I give you a multitude of tips on how to make this transition easy and long-lasting. We have a spiritual mandate, a holy responsibility to be in our most abundant health. God says that we are to be a living sacrifice, that our bodies are to be a temple. And so we have to practice good stewardship over them. So let me tell you, and Dana, you know the story. Let me tell you how I was introduced to the whole food plant-based lifestyle. Back in 2019, April of 2019, after having met with one of my clients who had actually reversed his chronic disease, he had been on dialysis, and reversed his diabetes. He said he had been a type 2 diabetic, and he took not one, but 2 insulins. And he reversed them by no longer eating meat. I took it upon myself to figure out how that could be true, hoping that I could use his story to help others. But after 1 week of intense study, I changed my life and I became whole food plant-based. I will tell you, I dropped a lot of weight. Turns out that was my chronic disease. I had struggled with obesity practically all my life. I dropped a lot of weight. At that point, in April of 2019, I was about 175 pounds. Now I'm 120. I was in a size, I'd say 14. Now I'm a size 2. And I struggled with cholesterol. Now my levels are just that, level. But listen, it took me a year and a half to make that lifestyle easy and simple. There were a lot of mistakes, a lot of time spent, but I tell you what, now, today, I have made it easy. I found out what to do, and it is simple. Let me tell you, I eat delicious whole food, plant-based foods all day, and I'm able to maintain my good health. And when I figured it out, I wanted to share it with you. So I wrote a book. The book is called Obesity, Heart Disease, Diabetes, Cancer, Thy Will or My Will. Is God getting glory from your chronic disease? And then I created the online course so that the struggle and trials that I had, you wouldn't have. From day one, when you enroll in that course, after you read the book and you begin to take that course, you will see immediate results. And then your transition would be a lot simpler than mine. Dana, you adopted the whole food plant-based lifestyle. Tell me why and how it's changed your life.
That's a great question, Kelly. And I just want to back up just a little bit. I was kind of thinking about this as far as, my story and my why. And I had an uncle to tell me, I think I was in my 40s and I was overweight. At one point, I tipped the scale at 296 pounds. And I had an uncle to tell me, he asked me, he said, "Are you on any high blood pressure medicine?" And I said, "No." And he said, "You will be by the time you're age 50. And I just I just took that as a challenge. And in my mind, I was thinking, with all due respect, oh no, I won't. So 2020 was the year that I turned 50. And I'm proud to say that I am not on any blood pressure medicine. And I am actually 51. So praise the Lord for all of that. But when I was at 296, I stepped on the scale and I thought, Dana, you cannot weigh 300 pounds. So that was the moment that, I was thinking about the prodigal son when he came to himself. And so for me, it was, you cannot weigh 300 pounds. Or it was the time when I was getting ready to ride a ride at Kentucky Kingdom. And it was one of those rides where they had the seat and the buckle there for you to try to make sure you can buckle it. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, I'm not going to try. But something in my head was like, you probably need to go on and try and make sure you can buckle that seatbelt. Got all the way up to the ride, got ready to buckle it, and I could not buckle it. And I thought to myself, I probably could just hold it down, but it was one of those rides that was going to turn upside down. I had to get off the ride because I couldn't buckle it. So what will it be for you? When will you come to yourself? Is it when the doctor says you need insulin? Is it going to be, that obesity scare or that diabetes type 2 scare? What's it going to be for you? When will you come to yourself? So as far as me adopting the whole food plant-based lifestyle, I just have fun with it, and I'm a weirdo. I'm a for real foodie. That's what I call myself, and I enjoy food, and I know that's what you're concerned about. You're like, what does plant-based even look like?
Good.
It's still fun. It's still, you get to enjoy food, but it's just a little bit different. You're finding ways in order to turn something that was not so healthy into something healthy. Yeah. So go ahead and drop some comments. What are some of the questions that you have about this whole food plant-based lifestyle that we can go ahead and answer for you? But it was the last 20 pounds. I saw Kelly one day and I was like, man, she looks good. And what do we do when we see somebody who looks good? Hey, how are you doing? What are you doing? And you always expect to hear something easy. You expect to hear, oh, I just drank 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar every day and I stand on one leg and then I'm able to lose the weight. It's not that simple. But what I hear Kelly say is she's done the research. She's packaged up an online course that is going to make it easy because she's already done the heavy lifting. So thank you, Kelly, for your online course that is going to make it easier for us to adopt this lifestyle. So in terms of what happened with me and Kelly is that, so when she was telling me what she was doing, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to do it because she was telling me that she didn't eat animals and she didn't eat any oil. And I just was like, well, you go, girl, and I'm going to keep on trucking. Because what? We like our chicken wings. We like our ribs. We like our roast. We like all of those things. You're looking at chicken wing, fried chicken, rib, finger licking people. We were the same people, right? But we realized when we came to ourselves, we didn't want to be on medication for the rest of our lives, and we knew that what we were diagnosed with was reversible. Like I've said before, I despise the word obese, right? Obesity, I hate that word, and I didn't want to be that as my category. I didn't want to be in that category anymore. So that's why I was able to, once I was ready, then I went back to Kelly and heard again. I was like, so what did you say you were doing again? Because I needed to lose that last 20 pounds. So in May of 2020, that's when I stopped eating meat and stopped eating oil. And that has helped me to lose that last 20 pounds that I needed to lose, as well as to get out of that obesity category. So
because you and I were talking about it. Remember we were talking about luxury vehicles? I mean, think about it. BMW, Benz, what else? Cadillac. Cadillac. When you pull up at the gas station in your luxury vehicle, do you pull up to that pump and get that regular gas out? Absolutely not. You know we are paying extra for the premium fuel for that luxury vehicle. What must we think of ourselves? What must God think of us? He says we are a little lower than the angels, that we are heirs and joint heirs with Christ. So why would we ever think to fuel our body or continue to fuel our bodies with subpar fuel? He told us what to put in our bodies. It's right there in Genesis 1:29, right in the Garden of Eden, surrounding us, good fruits and vegetables and grains and beans and nuts. But today, we can make those foods taste delicious. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not the one that cooks. In fact, I have my Instant Pot going right now. I make it really easy. But I wouldn't trade what I eat today for what I used to eat in a million years. You couldn't pay me $1 million to do it because I'm worth $1 billion. God is amazing. This is the lifestyle, and we want to share it with you.
And Kelly, when you were just talking about putting fuel in your tank, just before I came over to Kelly's house, I went to get some gas, and I've been putting the premium gas in my car, and guess what? It rides better. Why? Because it's got premium fuel. Just like your body will function better when you start putting premium foods in your body. You'll notice a difference, because when you think about that pain in your knee or that pain in your shoulder, and you're thinking it's because of arthritis. Well, did you know that there are certain foods that cause the inflammation in your body?
Absolutely.
All of that is in Kelly's course that will help you to understand, so that you can feel better, so that you can feel amazing, because you have that premium fuel in your body.
Absolutely. Because Dana, it's almost common. I mean, in my full-time job, what I do is go from home to home talking to people. When I tell you, it is rare to encounter someone who is not on some form of maintenance medication, whether it's amlodipine for high blood pressure, or one of the statins for cholesterol, or of course the famous metformin for type 2 diabetes, levothyroxine for thyroid, my goodness, the arthritis, and acid reflux, omeprazole, everywhere. You all, we are called to be set apart. Why is that common? Do you think that was the plan? I think not. We can reverse this. And my job, my assignment was to make it easy for you. And when I tell you, it can be done.
So Kelly, what about this? Because I think it would be so much. One of the things that is a hindrance is, let me think about my church, and we have, potlucks. We love to bring in good food. So what if my church wanted a program like this? Would you be willing to come to my church and give us some information? Can you tell us a little bit about what you could do?
Absolutely. I would love to come and personally stand before you, give you a presentation, and answer your questions to find out what hinders you. We should know better. We know that we're that living sacrifice, but I know we like to think that what is generational is our disease. What's actually generational and inherited is our lifestyle. And we didn't come from that. This was not from the beginning. We have got to change that. So I can answer questions for you, and you will still, God intended his provision to be good. It will be delicious. Fruit, fruit tastes better to me than it ever did. When you take away all the junk, quite frankly, that you were eating, your palate changes and you appreciate what God intended for you. So when I tell you that this is not hard, again, it took me a good year and a half to figure out, because what I was doing initially was eating a lot, like we always do, eating a lot of the same foods. And for me, a lot of easy raw foods, an orange here, an apple there, a banana here, over and over and over again. And how long can you maintain that? And so what I will do is I will answer your questions and we will do whatever necessary. But when I tell you, the course does it. And I wanted to create it and design it in such a way that, number one, it includes a lot more than just what you fuel your body with in terms of food. We talk about, like I said, sleep, which is important. Rest is important. We know that from the Bible. We talk about the importance of water. I talk about sprouting, all good things, but so that you have this information at your fingertips so that you can always reference it as it needs to be. And listen, those tips that I put in there, that's the key right there. That's what took me a year and a half to learn. I can know what I can tell you. Could tell me what I'm supposed to eat, but how do I do it? Where do I start? How do I make it such that if I go to a restaurant with friends, I'm not tempted by what they're eating. Thursday is Thanksgiving. If I go to have Thanksgiving with my family, and I am, when the turkey and the ham are put before me, it doesn't bother me that I won't eat it. It doesn't bother them that I won't eat it, that I move forward. This is what I would love to teach and to train and to hope that individuals, that we can change, we can be the light that God so wanted us to be.
So Kelly, that sure sounds like an expensive course. I mean, you're teaching us and walking us through how we're supposed to make this change. I mean, how much is something like that going to cost a person?
Well, people value what they pay for. So you think, I mean, this is life changing. I will tell you, I'm not going back. There will be no way. How? I eat delicious food. Why would I go back? And so this will last a lifetime. And you would think that it would be costly, but it's not my goal. You would think that there'd be some kind of subscription to, because we will communicate with you. We will build a community, but nothing like that. The program is actually $400. And right now, during this promotional season where we are bringing this to you all brand new, from November 15th, a few days ago, to November 30th, you actually get a 20% discount. And we want you to share that with everybody. That equates to an $80 discount, 20% off. And so if you go ahead and do it today, you will have access to my ebook immediately. The online program will go live to you on December 1st. At that point, you'll be sent an actual physical book, as well as a t-shirt, a tape measure, and a journal, so that you can write your thoughts and your ideas. I'll give you some homework assignments. I want you to do some thinking. I want us to look into the Bible and see what it says. I want your life to be changed forever. So yeah, $400. And at this point today, just $320.
So is that $320 every year, or so just a one-time fee? And you get all of what you just said. I know you all, if you like me, you got purses in your closet that cost more than $320, right?
I wanted to make it affordable, right? But I wanted you to see the life changing. And so I just envision, I'm prepared and excited about you coming on to tell your story, to tell us your testimony of how you had high blood pressure, but you no longer do, how your type 2 diabetes was reversed, how you no longer feel pain from arthritis. I want your before pics and your after pics. I am excited for you. The only thing that could be stopping you is you. It is right here. If I did it, you can do it.
So what about that person who's out there who maybe they still are concerned about their spouse, for example?
It's tough.
Who they're just a meat eater. They just don't think that their spouse would be willing to, they don't want to have to make two different meals, a meal for themselves and then a meal for the rest of the family.
Right.
What could you say to that person to help them to realize that that's something that they could overcome?
Well, that's a marriage thing. That's not just food. That's life. When you're married, and when you're married, you're not going to agree on everything. And let me tell you, my spouse is not fully committed to the whole food plant-based lifestyle, though he does look good. He has done a whole lot of it, but he still enjoys meat. But again, I actually studied it such that I realized that it was not for me. And so what he'll do sometimes is that he'll make, or oftentimes, you're going to eat green food, usually your vegetables regardless. So he'll make plenty of that for me, and then I'll make my food, because the whole food plant-based lifestyle is for everyone. I may not be able to eat all his foods, but he can eat all of mine. So I've introduced him to some foods. We no longer use dairy milk. We've got plant milk in the refrigerator. So you'll make small changes. And again, give grace. It took you a while to get there. Your spouse and other family members may never get fully there. But that's like anything in life. You do what you're supposed to do, and others will come along. And trust me, he was very impressed, my husband, at the weight that I lost. And again, he's down a size himself. So even a few steps can get you there, can help. No reason to stop you from doing it, that's for sure.
So what was the biggest struggle that you had to overcome? I know you said that, you got that pre-diabetes diagnosis. And when I Googled, 1 out of 3 people in America are pre-diabetic. So this is an epidemic. So for yourself personally, what was the hardest thing that you had to overcome?
Right. And Dana, on today's live, I didn't even mention the pre-diabetes. But yeah, I was diagnosed with pre-diabetes in 2014. And though I didn't completely adopt the whole food plant-based lifestyle at that time, because I didn't know about it, what God brought to me that healed me was herbs, again, from the Bible. But the biggest challenge that I see, number one, for most people, is that we don't take common chronic diseases seriously from the beginning. I mean, when you hear high blood pressure, you just think it's high blood pressure. Everybody has it. Who doesn't have it? I sure see it on a daily basis. But let me tell you, people don't just have strokes and heart attacks and completely healthy before then. That comes from things like high blood pressure. When it comes to diabetes, it is a well-known fact. Look it up. When you are on metformin for years and years and years, guess what happens? It affects your kidneys. Next thing you know, you're going to a nephrologist and you're dealing with some type of kidney issue. This could have been fixed and reversed years ago. So Dana, I think what people need to realize is that there are no small chronic diseases. If it can be prevented, and if it can be reversed, then if you haven't gotten it, prevent it. And if you've already been diagnosed with it, reverse it, because it does not have to be your trajectory into the future. Good things are not going to come from chronic diseases that are managed instead of healed for a lifetime.
Awesome. Well, Kelly, if you all have any questions, go ahead and put those in the comments at this time. And we are going to give away one of the books. We know last time we told you all to share the event, and many of you did. And as a result of those of you sharing, the winner of the first autographed edition of Kelly's book, drum roll please, is Joy Knight! Woo! Joy, you are going to get an autographed copy of Kelly's book, and we're so excited for you. And we may even have you on first when you finish reading the book. So if we have any other questions, any comments?
Congratulations, Joy.
Yes. And fun. I was just talking to Joy about this, so I'm super excited for her to get the book and to read it and to hear what she has to say about it. Once again, how much is it? What do our listeners need to know? Where do they need to go if they want to order order the online course and just get busy right away? What do they need to do?
You can find all information on our website, www.forrealfoodie, that's forrealfoodie.com. There you can find information about us, about the company, contact information. If you'd like me to come and speak to your group or organization, you can find out. You can enroll in the program so you can get immediate access to the actual book that I wrote. Just a host of information. There is a contact email if you have a question and you need to contact me. And if I'm not mistaken, we've already got live our prayer line. Isn't our prayer? We are actually accepting prayer requests because we understand that it takes all of us to intercede. We would love to go to the Lord on your behalf. So please let us know if you're having some specific health challenges that you want us to pray over. We will not make anything public, but we absolutely want to go to God on your behalf. But when I tell you, even if you struggle with a chronic disease that is unable to be healed, even if you can make better your symptoms so that you don't exhibit, you know how they say you don't know my story, you can't tell by looking at me. Let that be your story, that even though you have a chronic disease that maybe perhaps literally is unable to be healed, even that the whole food plant-based lifestyle can make you feel better. I'm absolutely sure of it. So absolutely or just forrealfoodie.com.
And before we go, just a couple of Thanksgiving tips. I had shared a couple of tips that I want to share with you. Number one, when you're fixing your plate for Thanksgiving, don't let your foods touch. Because you know what we do? We pile on the food. So here's a challenge for you when you're fixing your plate. Don't let your food touch. It'll be hard, but just try it. As well as don't graze around the food. You know how we just like to hang out over the food? Let's not hang out over the food. That's going to cause you to eat more. Drink plenty of water. And then lastly, focus on the relationships. We know everybody cooks good food, right? But focus on relationships. Focus on talking to your grandparents and your aunts and uncles and ask them questions, see how they're doing, what's going on in their life, because we all know there's a lot of people that are not here that were here last Thanksgiving. So focus on those relationships, get to know your people, and just enjoy one another. And lastly, we're going to try a new tradition this year, and we're going to actually take a hike after we eat. Good. So I'm suggesting that maybe you go on a walk or do some sort of activity with your family, go outside and play kickball, do something fun with your family along with enjoying all of that good food.
Dana, that is a wonderful tradition.
That one was free. That's free.
Whose idea was that?
Well, I saw where they were doing this big, a lot of Black people were doing the 5K, and I didn't get a chance to get that together. So I reached out and said, hey, why don't we go on a hike for Thanksgiving after we eat? So that's what we're going to try and do this. What we're going to do this year as a new tradition.
And let me tell you, when I think about that, I think compared to how I used to eat when I had a lot of heavy animal-based foods, and when I got through eating, especially like a Thanksgiving celebratory type meal, I kind of had the itis, where the thought of playing kickball or going outside, if it was anything more than sleep or laying down and unzipping something, that's what I would do. But now, plant-based, I could actually be up for a game of something, a hike or something following a big meal. So even if I kept my food separate now, Dana, I'm going to go back for seconds. I can tell you now, I'm going back for seconds.
But try it. Try fixing your plate without piling on everything. And the last tip is don't wear those baggy clothes. Go ahead and wear that form-fitting outfit, and that will help you eat less as well.
Absolutely.
Because you know when you look cute, that's it. Form-fitting. No sweats for Thanksgiving.
That is an excellent idea. Well, you guys, I tell you, yet again, I am so grateful. What I want you to do, if you don't mind, as Dana mentioned at the onset, if you could share this information with anyone that you know and love, if they are struggling with obesity, if they are struggling with heart disease, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, any number of chronic health diseases, and they want to be healed and not managed, please share this information with everyone you know. We are so grateful.
Thank you all. Until next time.
Take care and God bless.